Hello and welcome to episode 1 of my Let's Play on Satisfactory. This is going to be geared towards new players, especially in the beginning, not so much as the game goes on. We're going to jump into it real quick. We're going to start a new game. There is only one map in the game, but there is 4 starting locations. The grass fields down in the bottom left, not such good nodes, lots of open space, nearby biomass. The next one, Rocky Desert, is going to be up in the top left. Little better nodes, open space, good biomass. It's okay. The third one, Northern Forest. It's got great nodes. It's got great biomass. It's really confined and hard to build. No open space. And then the last one, Dune Desert, is going to be up in the top right of the map. It has great nodes. It has great open space. There's no biomass, okay? So I like to start in grass fields. That's just my preference. The nodes aren't as great, but we got lots of space and the biomass is nearby. I do like this intro video and I had it in, but it's really, really long. So I'm just gonna blow right through it and get to the game.
Touchdown. Planetfall complete. Drop pod integrity nominal. Omni-situational exploration suit nominal. Pioneer. Acceptable.
So you heard Ada. We're only acceptable. She's going to do a whole bunch of talking here in about 10 seconds for the next minute or so, and I'm just going to let her say everything she has to say, and then I will get back with you right after that.
Congratulations. You are the third in your region to survive planetfall. Welcome to Massage 2, AB, in the binary system of Akicha. Loading objective-based introduction. Begin onboarding. First contact safety tool supplied due to presence of alien megafauna. Adhere to Fix-It procedure and equip the Fix-It Inc. Xeno Zapper before leaving the drop zone. Next objective. Dismantle the drop pod. Fix-It Incorporated is cost-effective and efficient. We do not waste. The drop pod will be recycled to construct the first stage of the habitat and utility base, often referred to as the hub. Next objective. Use the resource scanner to find and collect additional iron to be able to build the hub. If you cannot find iron, be assured scans of the planet have revealed sufficient iron sources.
Okay, so the first thing they want us to do is scan for iron nodes. You can hold V down. It'll let you pick. If we had multiple different resources, all we have at the moment is iron, so it doesn't really matter where I pick. It's all going to be iron. It's going to do a scan. They're going to pop up on the top, whatever direction the first one is, and it'll give you a distance, so 300 meters, this kind of stuff. Now, you could start wherever you want to start. There's a bunch of nodes in this area, and it will drop you kind of wherever. I want to head kind of that direction. That's just the spot I like to start in. We're going to start running over that way. It's pretty important right from the beginning. Just start grabbing all of the leaves you can. I promise, however many you get, you're going to need way more than that. There's also, so here's our first food in the game, nuts. There's nuts and berries. This is not a survival game in the sense that you need to eat to quell your hunger. It's mainly just to regenerate your health, and then you can use these as ingredients for other things, but it's also basically to regenerate your health. So you can see the health down in the bottom left. I think it's 3 bars, so like if you're below 30% health, you'll regenerate automatically up to 30. But if you want to get your health above 30, you're going to need to eat something. So we're going to grab that, and then she's going to tell us about the food in the game.
Potential edible collected. Eating it and surviving does not count as a valid field test and does not generate enough data for Fix-It to make an informed decision. Store this potential resource for later use.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep grabbing leaves. Just keep grabbing leaves. And you don't have to go way out of your way to grab food, but we'll grab it when we see it. So the game has nodes, which are infinite, and then occasionally there's rocks. So here's sulfur. So that's just a little rock. We'll get like 20 sulfur out of it, and then it'll break. So those are kind of just randomly scattered around, but that is not a sulfur node. So we're looking for iron nodes. Okay, it's detected our first enemy here. Okay, I think I missed that. So you can try... Oh, I jumped way too soon there. You can try to jump over him as he runs at you. Time your jump. which I'm obviously doing terrible at. Or you can try to kite him around. I don't think I've hit him a single time. Wow, I'm terrible at this. So you can kind of do that and try to kite him around. It's not really that big a deal. These things are not that tough. There are things later that are tough. Then she's going to tell us about this when we pick up his remains.
Samples of new alien species acquired. Notable features are blunt teeth, suggesting it is herbivorous, and a thickly plated skull and spine, suggesting it is proficient at inflicting and receiving blunt force trauma. Preserve the remains for later study.
All right, so this is the area I like to start in. I don't know why. I just like being over here. It's a pretty big open flat area, so it's good to build in the beginning. It does have the poison gas over there, and then way off that way, which is more towards where we started, there's the big arch. So from the arch to the poison gas, and then we're kind of north of the poison gas. And what I like, it's big and flat. There's lots of resource nodes around, but there's also tons of biomass up the hill there. And I just saw this guy, so we'll take him out. I don't know if I got him there. Come on. Okay, I guess I did get him because that was only 2 hits. So these are the resource nodes. When we killed the first hog, we were right by one. And I can do V and it'll ping on all 3 of these. So this big circle on the ground is the resource node. This is a normal node, and it's all resource nodes are infinite in the game. So you can just stand here and mine ore forever. Now, just like we saw that sulfur rock, this is just an iron rock on top of the node. This will just last one time. We'll get like 20 iron out of it and it'll break, but the node will still be there below.
Next objective, use the build gun to construct the hub. Iron is a base component necessary for all near future progress, so ensure you build the hub close to iron sources.
Okay, so like I was saying, so this is the infinite node. This is an infinite node, but it's got a rock on top. There's impure, normal, and pure, and that's just going to be how much you get out of it, basically per second or per minute or whatever. So they want us to go ahead and build the hub. I'm going to go ahead and put the hub down, probably over by this rock.
Hub foundation built. The hub terminal and crafting bench are only the humble beginnings of a successful Fix-It pioneer, but essential for the next steps of onboarding. Once finished, the hub will function as your base of operations. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 1.
Okay, so this is your crafting bench. This is the terminal where we upgrade things. And you can see there's a bunch of tiers. Each tier will have a bunch of different things. Specifically, tier 0 only shows you one at a time. So hub upgrade 1, it's going to get us an equipment workshop. It's going to get us a portable miner. It's going to give us an extra hand slot. So instead of only holding like one thing in our hand, we can have 2 things and switch between them. And it's going to cost, to unlock it, 10 rods. We could come over here to the crafting bench, and you can see we've got some iron ore in our inventory. We can turn the ore into ingots. We can take the ingots and turn those into plates or rods. We could go over here. We could unlock that. It's going to tell us to do another one and another one and another one. And I just find it gets kind of annoying to keep constantly going, okay, I need 10 more plates. I need 15 rods. And you're getting some more and you're getting some more and you're getting some more. So I like to just knock it all out at once. Okay, so specifically what we're going to need to not do all the upgrades, but to do kind of the next section, we need 198 iron ore. Or more than that. And then we're going to turn that into 56 plates and 114 rods. I'm going to go ahead and, even though I could just stand at that other node and mine my 198, I'm going to go ahead and take the rocks off of the other 2 nodes because we will need the node open at some point, not right now. So I'll go ahead and knock this other one out, and then I'm going to stand and just mine the node manually until we get our 198 or more. I'll probably go a little more than that. And you can see right now we're at 76, so. Okay, I got 210, and I don't remember if I said it in the other segment, but when it says press E, you just tap E. You just tap E, and then you're mining. You don't have to hold down E or anything like that. So we're going to head back over to the hub. God, I lost it for a second. It's so camouflage. We're going to head back over to the hub, and we are going to turn that 198, and when you look here, it's 1 ore becomes 1 ingot. So we're going to turn this completely into ingots, and then we're going to make 56 plates and 114 rods. And just like the other thing where you just tap E, I just pressed the spacebar 1 time to do this. I'm not holding the spacebar. Just a tap on the spacebar, and you're going to sit and do this without having to hold anything down. So this one, 3 ingots gives you 2 plates. And then for the rods, it is 1-to-1. So we're going to go ahead and just real quick do our 56 plates and 114 rods. Okay, we've gone ahead and got everything here. So we're going to come over here to the terminal. We are going to select this. We're going to select our milestone, put our rods in, upgrade the hub. A little bit more just popped up.
Hub upgrade 1, storage and frame, completed. Equipment like the portable miner can now be made in the workshop. Congratulations on completing your first milestone, the first of many providing access to new recipes and technologies for the Fix-It mission. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 2.
All right, so the only usable thing we got from the hub is we've got our little storage box now, so we could store a few things. We can also build the equipment workshop. Now, up until this point, we were able to build the hub. I can't build another one because you only have one. We had a crafting bench here. Putting this down, it's the exact same as this crafting bench. It's identical. So you don't have to go back to your hub to craft stuff. As long as you have the resources on you, you can put a crafting bench down anywhere. Now, the equipment workshop is not something that's on the hub. Oh, and I usually stick it over here, but I don't know if I have the room. So before I use all my resources, I want to go ahead and make some miners right now and get them going so that when we're ready, it'll already have our resources for us. So I'm going to go ahead and build 10 miners. It will show you how many you can build based on what's in your inventory. So I have enough to build 25. I'm just going to build 10. There's a couple other things I want to point out. If you right click on something, you can add it to the to-do list and it's going to pop up over here. You can add several of them. You can go over here and do edit. You could change the number here. You could clear the list. There's a public notes section. So if you're trying to keep track of what you're going to do next in the game, like the next thing we want to do is put down miners. I don't remember if you have to hit enter or not on that. And then it's going to show that. I know it's really small. It's going to say put down miners. It's going to show this. We're just going to go ahead and clear all this stuff because I don't need any of this right now. I just wanted to point it out in case I forget later. So we're going to go ahead and build our 10 miners. And again, just tapping spacebar. Don't have to hold it down. All right, we got our 10 miners. I'm going to go over here, and when you put the portable miners down, they don't take any kind of power or anything like that. You can see we have 2 hand slots now. Before we only had 1, so I can use mouse wheel to switch. You can put a bunch of these down. I mean, like a bunch of these. So I like to just try to go to the middle approximately. I'm going to drop it. You can put them inside of each other. I don't recommend it because then it's hard to kind of select them when they're full. So they don't take any power. They're just going to sit and mine, and they're going to fill their inventory up. They can only hold 100 though. So that's why I like putting down 10. That gives me 1,000 iron. So we're going to go back over here because we already have the stuff for the next hub upgrade. And then when we're ready for upgrade 3, we'll already have the resources. So here, 10 plates, 20 rods, which we should have. So it's going to give us a smelter, which is our first machine, which melts down the iron ore into ingots, but it takes power. It's going to give us power lines. It's going to give us copper ingots, wire, which you make out of copper, cable, which you make out of wire, and then it's going to let us scan for copper ore. So we'll go ahead and select this one. We got everything we need to go ahead and unlock that. We're going to upgrade. We got some basic walls now here.
Hub upgrade 2, power and shell, completed. The smelter can turn raw ore such as copper and iron into ingots, and the biomass burner generates power when fueled. Fun fact: most of the native flora and fauna is compatible with Fix-It technology. Fueling the biomass burner with inappropriate materials will result in deductions or even cancellation of your yearly bonus. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 3.
So I already said we've got the smelter, which is our first machine. It takes power. This is our first little power plant. We can put the leaves in it. I don't think this one, as long as it's not connected, it won't actually burn the leaves, but I'm not going to leave them in there. But that's why we've been collecting leaves, is so we can burn them in here and get electricity. We don't have to worry about that at the moment. We can go in here and we can look at the next upgrade. And you can see we're going to need some of our new wire and, this stuff. So we got to get into the copper. Don't worry about any of that stuff yet. All right, so we do need to go get some copper. I want to go ahead and make 10 more of the portable miners so we can take them up there and drop them on the node. You can see it's exactly what we have the resources for. 10 more miners, almost like I planned this out. So I'll go up there, we'll drop the miners down, and what we need for the next section is I need 123 copper or more and 335 iron or more. We're going to take 23 of that copper and 135 of that iron. We're going to turn it into ingots, and then we're going to make 46 wire, 1 cable, 75 rods, and 40 plates. I know, is that specific enough? So I believe we're going over here. I have 2 things now, so I can do iron or copper. So we're going to do copper. I already know it's like right about there. Yep, it's literally right on it. That's where we came from when we killed the hog. It's also getting dark. The day is not that short in the game. The problem is I really sped up the footage where I was standing there and mining or making things in the crafting table. It takes a lot longer than you realize. It took like 5 seconds for you guys, and it was like 15 minutes of me sitting there doing it, and I'm getting ready to do it again. So I'm going to let these guys run for just a second so I can get up to the 123. It won't take very long. And then I'll run back down and I'll grab my 335 iron. Okay, so I don't need to turn all of this in right now. I just need 23 copper ingots and 135 iron ingots. So while the iron, we took iron ingots and we turned them into plates or rods. With the copper, it's a little different. The copper ingots turn into wire, but then the copper wire turns into cable. So we're going to make 46 wire. Then we're going to make 1 cable, which will use 2 of the wire. And then I need 75 rods and 40 plates. Now, we already have, we've got some rods there. So we're going to have a little bit more, and I made a few more ingots. But let me crank this out real quick. So I thought I was done. I actually did not make the cable. Okay, there we go. Got the cable. So we're going to come back here. So the first machines we have are the smelters. And they're going to turn the ore into ingots. So obviously I want one that's doing copper and I want one that's doing iron. I want to put 2 down that are doing iron though, because we're going to use a lot. I'm just going to stick them right here for just a second. It doesn't really matter where. If you hold control, it'll line up like that. Putting stuff on the grass is not ideal, but that's just kind of what we're doing right now. So I'm going to put those 3 down. Now we need to power them. Okay, here's the problem. All we have is this one thing here. I can do this, and I can connect that. Cool. All right, so then we go to connect this one. I can't connect to that. This can only connect to one thing. That can only connect to one thing. So all I can do is hook one of them up. We can go in here. We could go ahead and say it's iron. We could give it some iron. We could come over here. We can throw some leaves in. It's going to start working. So cool, we're making some iron ingots and stuff. I can go ahead and set these other ones up and put their stuff in, but I can't power them because I don't have a way to connect them together. And what do we need to do to connect them together? Well, we need a power pole, which happens to be what the next upgrade is. So this previous upgrade gave us all of this stuff, right? The smelter and the power line, and then it gave us copper. This one has given us a constructor, which is our next machine. The constructor takes the ingots and makes whatever, our plates, our rods, our wires, our cables. The power pole Mark 1, which is what I need right now. It also gives us concrete, which comes from limestone. And you can see we've got scannable resource limestone. We get screws, which come from rods. And then we get reinforced iron plates. Oh, now we're starting to get complicated. So what I care about at the moment, though, is the power pole. So I'm going to select this. We've got everything we need. Throw all that stuff in there. Upgrade the hub. We've got a little bit of an interior going in here now. And we've got this section where you can do character customization. So we can do all that. I think we have a toilet now, too.
Allow for the expansion of
You can
the
throw
power
stuff in there
grid.
you don't want.
When you make the inevitable mistake, Fix-It's dismantling feature is designed to salvage all resources used during construction.
We'll make 10 more of
in line with
these
our
for the
zero
limestone.
waste policy. We understand that Fix-It pioneers are only human and thus prone to error. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 4.
All right, so just like we've been doing so far, I think the limestone node's right there, right? Now I've got 3 resources. I'm pretty sure I'm looking right at it. Oh, nope, I wasn't. It's over here. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to mine the rock off the top. I'm going to put down my 10 miners. Oh, this one doesn't actually have a rock on top. These are weird too because see how piled up it is? This one's kind of hard to navigate. But we're going to put down our 10 miners. If we can kind of put them in a row. See, I'm getting stuck on stuff. And this is an impure node. All right, not exactly ideal there. Okay, so what we need for the next section, I need 570 limestone, which is going to get turned all into concrete, 312 copper, no big deal, there's 1,000 over there, and then 1,005 iron, which we'll also have. So let me collect all of this, and the iron and the copper, and then we're going to go over, and we have to, I already said, all this is going to get turned into concrete, because that's the only thing we can do with limestone at the moment. The iron and the copper, though, we need to make 465 rods. We're going to take 215 of those and turn them into 840 screws. We're going to make 359 plates. We're going to take 90 of those plates and the screws, and we're going to make 15 reinforced plates. We're going to need the 190 concrete. We're going to need 624 wire. We're going to take 494 of it and turn it into 247 cable. Yeah, that's a lot. All right, so I have not got the other ingredients yet because as you can see, I don't have room for all that copper and stuff. What I want to do is I want to get this set up. Let's let this thing start smelting for us. So I do need to put down the power pole, which is what we were waiting on last time. I think my main holdup, I needed a little more copper. And we need some concrete. And maybe a couple rods. That should get that going. So we'll come back here. We're going to go ahead and delete this. We're going to put down a power pole wherever. It doesn't really matter. We can connect 4 things now together, so I can connect that burner all up to all of these machines. You can see these 2 machines started working. This one finished while we were gone. I'm going to take him out, and I'm going to throw this in. That way they're smelting. Now I need to go and collect 1,005 iron, plus I need to go up and get the copper. I don't have room in my inventory. I need to get rid of some of this concrete. So I'm going to turn the concrete into, or I'm sorry, I'm going to turn the limestone into concrete while those run. And then we'll keep going. All right, so concrete stacks to 500, and it takes 3 limestone to make 1 concrete. So I've already turned 6 stacks into 1 stack. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here. What else do I not need? I'm not going to need that. I'm not going to need these nuts. Pretty much going to need everything else. We'll go over here and check on these guys. God, did you already go through that? You sure did. Okay, I'm not going to put this stuff in my inventory unless it's to... Well, I don't have any more iron ore. I've just got copper ore. I'll take that out. So let me go ahead and grab the rest of the copper and the iron. I've just got to try to make some more room here. I'm going to take that stuff out, even though I'm going to need it back. Let's just put everything in here for the moment. All right, I'm going to let those smelt down, but I've still got to do a bunch of stuff manually. I would love to build the constructors and get them going, but we need to make the parts to make the constructors. I know this is getting a little complicated right now. Let me make the rest of the stuff manually. I'll keep chucking some stuff in there and letting it help me. Okay, we just blew a fuse, and I already know why. It's because I'm sure we've run out of leaves back here. Yep. I do have a little bit more. I've also got some... Oh, we have basically nothing. Yeah, we've got basically nothing. So that's not going to last very long at all. You know, I was trying to get them to help me. They helped me. It's not really worth running around and collecting leaves for this little bit, so I'm just going to keep going and doing the rest of this manually. Okay, that should be all of our ingots in, or all of our ore into ingots. I can't hold everything in my inventory. Yeah, it's too much. So let me put the copper away, and let me just have all the iron. And I think we're a couple concrete short, because I think I grabbed like 560 or something, and I needed 570. Anyway, so when we went and got the 312 copper and the 1005 iron, I already had 200 iron and 100 copper over here, so we got way more than enough, which is fine. So what I'm going to do, and I can't do it all at once because of my inventory, but I'm going to take all the iron right now. I'm going to make my 465 rods. We're going to take 215 of them and turn it into 840 screws. We're going to make 359 plates. We're going to take 90 of those and turn it into 15 reinforced iron plates, which is plates and screws. We're a couple short on our concrete. I'll get the copper, and then I'll have to put this in the chest and then get the copper. 624 wire, 494 of those turns into 247 cable. Okay, let me finish the rest of this. It's going to get much easier after this step. This is the last crazy step like this. Okay, so before we go any farther, because it's almost confusing now and it's about to get worse. So we have 3 resources, right? We've got iron, we've got copper, which is up there, and then we've got the limestone down here. The iron turns into ingots, the copper turns into ingots. The limestone doesn't. The limestone goes directly to concrete. So we have a couple machines. We've got a smelter and a constructor now, which is what we just got. The smelter turns the ore into ingots, right? So the smelter, sorry, I did not want to do that. The smelter does these 2 things, turns the ore into ingots. So these can be replaced with the smelter. The rest of this stuff, where we take iron ingots into plates, iron ingots into rods, rods into screws. Not this one though, because the constructor can only do one thing. This is 2 things. It takes the plates and the screws to make reinforced plates, so we can't automate that yet. And then with the copper, same thing. The wire, the ingots into wire, the wire into cables, and for the concrete, turning the limestone into concrete. These 2 are the smelter. The rest of these, except that one, are the constructor. So we've already got the smelters down. We can put down a constructor. We can set the recipe like we're going to turn, ore into plates. So we don't have a machine yet to automate that, but I can manually pick up ore and throw it in that. It'll turn into ingots. We could come over here. I don't have a way to get the stuff from here to there, but we could come over here. We could drop the ingots in. They would turn into plates, right? So we're almost there, but we need a miner and we need a way to connect it. And I'm just going to tear all this down, because we're going to redo it all in a minute. So you can kind of see where we're going with this, right? But we need a couple more things. So I'm going to come in here for Hub Upgrade 4. Look, Conveyor Belt Mark 1, conveyor poles, and 3 more inventory slots, which is nice. So we need the conveyor belt to connect the smelter to the constructor. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. Give it everything it needs. And I think I am 2 concrete short, so at some point that'll be a problem. Did we get the other?
Hub
yeah, so we got a second.
Landing
No, we
platform
didn't.
and utilities
Sorry, my bad.
completed. Conveyor belts connect the
I thought I
output
already
of
looked
one
at this.
building to the input of another and transport resources.
Yeah.
Due to past incidents, I have been asked to issue a clarification. Portable miners, obviously, do not have a connection for conveyor
Right. Portable
belts.
miners don't connect to the conveyor belts.
There
I'm
is
just going to keep
nothing
going
to
here.
suggest, visually or functionally, that they can be connected to portable miners.
I'm just going to
If
skip
this
that.
is
All right.
something you struggle with, do not worry.
Tab
Fix It has
skips. Oh,
alternative
enter.
uses for next objective. Complete hub upgrade.
Go away. So Hub Upgrade 5, it's going to give us the miner, which is the first part we needed. It's going to give us a storage container. This is important. And not like a little tiny one. This is a big thing. And it has conveyor ports, right? and we get 3 more inventory slots. So what we'll be able to do is we'll put a miner down on a node, we'll conveyor it to the smelter will conveyor to the constructor will conveyor to the storage container, and then we will have automated like the process, and we won't have to do what I just did of that giant craziness. That literally took 40 minutes of me making all that stuff.
Hub Upgrade 5, Power Expansion, completed. The miner, unlike portable miners, can be connected to conveyor belts and requires power to function. Caution: as you expand, the energy demand of your production may exceed the capacity of your power grid.
Which is what we get next,
The
is more
onboarding
power.
program was established because Fix-It
Now we
pioneers
get the
often
second one of
experience
these.
memory
Yeah.
issues after planetfall. If you are experiencing nosebleeds, nausea, existentialism, or an itchy scalp, there is no need for concern. This should pass within 5 to 7 workdays. Next objective: complete Hub Upgrade 6.
Okay, so we've got 2 of the biomass burners, and we could set up some machines, and we can power some machines, but it's not going to be enough power. And luckily, the next hub upgrade, which I started to show for just a second, if we go to Hub Upgrade 6, Space Elevator, we can talk about that later. Basically, as soon as we're done with the hub upgrades, it's going to unlock the first 2 phases here, 1 and 2. And in order to get past that, we need the Space Elevator for 3 and above. So we got the Space Elevator unlocked in a second. We're not going to need it until we get to 3. So we can do 1 and 2 without it. What's important here is these biomass burners, which are standalone. So I can put down whatever I need, 3, 4, whatever. And then the biomass. And right now I can burn wood and leaves, and you get a certain amount of energy out of it. If you craft the wood and leaves into biomass, and then put the biomass in the biomass burner, it's more efficient. You're going to end up getting more energy out of the same amount of stuff. The other important thing with the biomass burner is it has a conveyor port now. It didn't originally for quite a while, but now it has a conveyor port. So we could actually set up a production with some storage containers where you throw wood in one and leaves in the other, and they get crafted to biomass and go into the storage container to build up, and then go into the biomass burners. And we can kind of automate it other than collecting the wood and leaves. So we're going to go ahead and do this one real quick. Oh, got enough of that. And that. Is this the one that takes...
Hub Upgrade 6, Landing Platform Hydraulics, completed. Freighter
Yes.
landing
There it comes.
initialized. Congratulations, you have completed onboarding and achieved the absolute minimum skill level required of a Fix-It pioneer. Fix-It looks forward to your future achievements, because a future with Fix-It is a future with you. Tier 1 and 2 milestones are now available in the hub, and biomass burners can now be built individually. Your first official objective is to initiate project assembly by building the space elevator. This objective will take a significant amount of resources, so Fix-It recommends getting to work.
Okay, so our next game objective is the space elevator. Like I said, we don't need to worry about that. We've got tiers 1 and 2. We can complete those and then worry about the space elevator. So we're not even going to worry about that right now. So what do we get in tier 1 and 2? What are we doing next? So let's look. Base building. That's going to unlock foundations and walls. That's going to let us build an actual factory. You've already seen a little bit. Snapping the machines on the floor is kind of disorganized. This helps a lot. It takes a lot of resources, though, to actually put down all these foundations. So we need to get a basic production going on the ground before we have enough resources to build a factory. So we're going to want this, but we don't need it right now. Logistics, the splitter and the merger, that's going to be useful, and the conveyor lift as well, of course. These are going to be useful for combining things or splitting things. Again, don't need it right now. Field research, the object scanner lets you look for things other than ores. The MAM is where you do research. We can unlock a lot of stuff. Good things. Again, don't need it right now. Part assembly. This is going to give us the assembler. So the machine we already have, the constructor, can only input one part, one thing, and turn it into one thing. This has 2 inputs, which we already have the reinforced iron plate recipe that takes 2 inputs. And then the rotor and the modular frame and the smart plating take multiple inputs, and copper sheets does it. That could be in the constructor. So this is good. Again, don't need it right now. Jump pads, these are kind of useless in my opinion. They don't there's just no reason to do it. Like it's maybe a little fun, but so again, not right now. The awesome sink and awesome shop. These are pretty important actually. So anything that you don't want, you send into the awesome sink and it just basically deletes it, but you get tickets. And then you can use the tickets in the shop to unlock stuff. And it unlocks a lot of things that you're actually going to want. So this is good. Again, not right now. Logistics Mark II, we get a faster conveyor belt. So the one we've got now does 60. This one does 120. We get the stackable poles, which is cool. And of course, a lift Mark II. Good. Again, not now. What I want right now is obstacle clearing, because I already talked about how we can automate the biomass. The only thing is we have to go out and collect wooden leaves manually, which is slow. The chainsaw, it does it really fast. It also gives us the solid biofuel. So you can craft wooden leaves into biomass. You can craft the biomass into the solid biofuel, which you have to do because that's what the chainsaw takes. But also the biomass burners will burn this, and it's even more efficient than the biomass. So this is the first thing we want to unlock right here. So I'll go ahead and get that. And wait, what's that? No, concrete. Did I forget to make the screws? I thought I had everything I needed for this, but I guess I didn't make the rods into screws. Okay. Back in a minute. Okay, that should be enough. I made more just because I need to make the chainsaw, and I can't remember.
Milestone reached.
Now
Solid
it takes the
biofuel
parts and takes
created
off
from
and
any
then comes back.
biomass ensures maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, the chainsaw allows for the removal of tougher wood and coral foliage. Additionally, your pocket dimension has been inflated to increase inventory size. Inspirational note: will you be the Fix-It Employee of the Month? You could be if you construct, automate, explore, and exploit by eliminating all obstacles to efficiency. This isn't just fun, it's contractually mandated fun.
Okay, so I'm going to collect just a little bit of stuff here. Just to show you guys. So let me go back over here so we can craft. So we've got wooden leaves. So that'll go in the biomass burner. I can actually craft it into biomass, and you can see they're separate wooden leaves. We don't have any wood right now, so let me craft the leaves into the biomass. Okay, so we've now got biomass, and then I can craft the biomass into the solid biofuel, which is what the chainsaw takes, and it's what we're going to use in the biomass burners because it's more efficient. Okay. Where's the chainsaw? Okay, so the nice thing about it is, number one, we can cut down trees, and that's going to give us a lot, but it also has an area of effect. Which I should have left some bushes here so you guys can see that. Let me go over here. Those are going to count. Okay, here. This is good. So I'm just going to get... Okay, I'm just going to get that bush. Boom! Area of effect. So we can get stuff really fast now. All right, so what we want to do at this point is we want to set up our basic production again. Now, the problem is going to be the power. The more power we draw, the more biomass burners I have to keep feeding, right? So one of the reasons I put 10 of these down on our nodes is 'cause I can run over there and grab 1,000 and then throw it in a storage container. That doesn't take that long, and it saves us quite a bit of power. So for the moment, we are going to set up just the most basic automation, and we're not going to have miners. We're going to use the portable miners. So give me just a second here because I want to kind of like figure out how I'm going to lay this out. Okay, so I want to get started. We just need to get something where we can get our resources going because I do not want to craft stuff by hand anymore. So I already said we're not going to do the miners. We're going to do the portable miners for now. It's going to save us quite a bit of power. So the first things we're going to need is the smelters. The way I want to set this up is I want to start this way and work towards the hub so that our finished parts are down here closer to the hub. So I'm going to come down this way. This should be far enough back. So let's come over here. Try to like aim the setup at the hub here. So this will be an iron miner, or sorry, this will be an iron smelter. It will eventually get connected to a miner. Probably don't want to put this right on top of the node. And I'm going to have 2 of these. And probably that far apart. So we'll just have 2 of them. Eventually they'll both be hooked up to a miner. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to put another one down. That's going to be for copper. Eventually I'm going to want another copper one. We're not going to do that right now. So let me just set these real quick so you guys can see and also I can remember what I'm doing. So that one will be iron. This one's going to be iron. This one's going to be copper. And remember, the limestone does not need smelted. It only needs constructed, I guess. So we're going to turn those, all these ores into ingots. Next step's going to be the constructor. So I'm just going to come over here. Leave a little bit of space. Probably not going to want to snap to that one. Kind of. This is the problem when you don't have foundations. This is why you want foundations. Things snap so much easier. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of trying to make it perfect. So we're going to come over here. So this will be iron ingots. So we can just make plates on this line. Now this is where you got to look at the numbers. Doesn't really matter right now, but this wants 30 iron ore a minute, and it's going to give you 30 ingots a minute, right? So 30 input, 30 output. The 30 output's going to come over here. This wants 30 ingots a minute, so 30 input, and then it's going to give you 20 plates output. So all these numbers match, right? 30 in, 30 out, 30 in, 20 out. Sounds good. Come over here. 30 in, 30 out. We're going to do rods on this one because we did plates on the other one. So 15 input, 15 output. So we could actually set 2 constructors up with a splitter. We haven't unlocked the splitters yet. And these numbers would line up. It's okay. We're just going to basically use 50% of it. So the numbers aren't going to match. Don't worry about the numbers right now. We'll worry about that stuff later. And then over here, of course, the copper, we got to turn it into wire. Now, this is where it's a little bit weird because the wire turns into cable. So, okay, I could set another constructor out here. Let's go down a ways. And we set this one to cable. So then all of our wire turns into cable. I don't have any wire. We could split that off into another constructor, and we could have wire into cable, and then we could just have wire and then go into a storage container. We could set up another smelter. There's a bunch of things we can do. What I'm going to do for now is I'm going to leave it just like this. And we're going to come back to that in a second. So we're making all of our plates here. So what I want is a storage container at the end. And actually, I kind of want it just like closer to the hub, I think. Right, so that's just going to be all of our plates. That's going to be all of our rods. I probably should not have spaced that far out. I know they're not going to line up, but that was a little too much. And now, if I put this here, see, I'm not going to do that. I confused myself. If I put that there, all of the wire turns into cable, and all the cable goes in the storage container. I'm not going to put a storage container there. This is going to make our cable. It's when it fills up with, I think cable stacks to 200. When it fills up to 200, this will fill up with 500 wire, because wire stacks to 500. And then this will fill up with 500 wire. And so I'm going to, once this starts running, I'll pull a cable out every once in a while. But I only want like 600, 800 cable. And then I want to stop, and then I want to let it fill up with wire. So we're doing this a little bit more manually, okay? So we've got what we need. We're going to connect the stuff to conveyor belts. Thought I lined this. No, I did. Okay, that just looked like that was crooked. But now for input, instead of hooking up the miners, we're going to go ahead and do storage containers again so that I can use the portable miners. Where are you at? That's not right. There it is. Am I not standing in front of it? Like I said, so much... we're just going to stick it there. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so the copper ingots will go in there. Go into copper ore. Copper ore will go into wire. The wire will turn into cables. No storage container. I'll just pull cables out manually, and we'll let the rest of it turn into wire. Iron ore into ingots. Ingots into rods. Rods into the storage container. So it'll just keep running, right? And the same thing over here with the plates. I think I just need to hook this last one up. Okay, so I could go drop all those. Now, we haven't done concrete yet. Concrete doesn't need a smelter. It just needs a constructor. So I'm just going to come down here to the end of the line. Drop us a constructor there. And then I'm going to just stick this kind of over here. I don't care if something clips right now. We will not do clipping later. Oh, it didn't actually clip. Okay. This is going to be concrete. And then just to kind of like make it a little easier for me, I'm just going to do this because then it's a little closer to those. Let's see, did this clip? No. Yeah. It might. It might. I don't think it will. And then I already set that to concrete. So this is all ready to go except for power. So what we're going to use these two for now. We're not going to set the other stuff up quite yet. We're going to use these two for now. So we've got to have a power pole here just to combine these two into one, right? Because each power pole has 4 connections only. So now we've used 2. Hi, Editor Ken here. Minor update. I just kind of glossed over this. I connected these two together to one pole. In real life, you can't just simply take 2 things that generate electricity and just plug them together like this. It's more complicated than that because they have to be synchronized with each other. You know, this is the future. They've got wireless communication or something or whatever. But the first time I played this, I connected one and then I ran poles until I could connect machines and it was, you know, that was it. And then I ran the other one and I had a second set of lines and I wasn't connecting them together. And then I watched somebody play and they just connected them together. And I just thought, oh, I didn't know you could do that, right? Like, it makes sense though. It does make sense. And I've seen a lot of other people do that. They just assume you can't connect them together. So just wanted to point out that pretty much anything that produces power in the game, you can just put them all together and you just have one power grid. I'm not saying you should have one power grid, but you can just have one power grid. Pole has 4 connections only. So now we've used 2, and now we got to start going that way. There are higher power poles, and eventually you'll be able to do more on them and stuff. So we got to think. I'm going to put this for this row. So we're going to have 1 input. We're going to have 1 output to go to the next pole, which means I only have 2 available. Well, there's only one. There's 2 machines in this row. So that one works. So I got to come back here. Well, now I've got my 1 input and my 1 output. I've only got 2, but I've got 3. So I'm going to put another pole right there. And then I'm going to come back here. And that would be enough, but I know eventually this is going to want to continue, so I'm going to put another pole there. Does that seem kind of confusing? Probably. Let's connect all these up. Okay. So this pole, right? So there's your input and your output. So you've only got 2 left. And there's your 2. So both of those are hooked up. So then this front one's got 2. So you're going to do 1, 2. This pole's going to grab the next one. First pole's going to grab 2. Then this pole's going to grab that one. Okay, so everything's hooked up now. I can go ahead and grab the ore and the ore and the ore and throw them in. We're going to need a little bit of power. So what I'm going to do, because there's no power on, let me run around and let me grab, I'm going to grab 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, throw them in our storage containers. Nothing's going to happen though because there's no power. And then I'm going to run around with the chainsaw and I'm going to cut a few trees down. And then we'll get back to this. And I'm going to empty my inventory first so that I can try to carry all this stuff. And you will see this. There's no power. The conveyors themselves don't need power, okay? So it's going to empty. It's going to go to here. Now it's going to stop because this machine doesn't have power, so it's not going to go in the machine yet. So we've just got our ore here sitting on the belt. And you can pick these up off the belt and do whatever with them. Okay, that's enough. I literally just can't. You have no idea how time consuming that is to do that. All right, so we've got our stuff here. What I'm going to do, because I kind of want to show. Well, there's not a really easy way to do this. Yeah, okay. We're not going to do that. I kind of wanted to show like one thing at a time, but it's not going to be easy to do that. So these stack to 200. There's 200. There's 200. They're both on. Now, the two of these together can go up to 40, and the maximum we can consume is 32. So those two are fine for now. If we added 4 miners, though, to the mix, that pretty sure that would have pushed us over. So you can see I've got our iron ore. It's going into the smelter. We're coming out of the smelter. We're making ingots. We're making plates. Plates are going in. Over here, we're making rods from the ingots. Copper ore. Copper ingots. Making wires. And then on this end, we're making cables. So what I'll do is, like I said, this will get up to 200 and this machine will stop producing. This will build up to 500 and the machine behind it, the output will build up to 500. So I'll pull the cables out a couple times, but then I'll also keep pulling the wires out. Because if I put a storage container, all the wire is going to go to cable and we won't have anything. And of course, then you can see the limestone is turning into concrete. I tried to jump on the belt there. We're going to need a ton of concrete, and unfortunately, it's not very efficient. 45 limestone is only 15 concrete, so not real efficient, and we need a ton of it. So what we're going to do, I think we're way past like how long I should have gone on one episode. I need to let this run for a bit so we have some resources. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to run over and I'm going to get more iron and copper and limestone and throw them in, and then run around and probably harvest a bunch more biomass, and maybe throw the ores in again, and then harvest some more biomass, and then I'll stop, and then it'll be time for episode 2. What we're going to do in the next episode, because crafting this solid biofuel is horrible, is we're going to set up a production for that, where I'll have 2 storage containers, and honestly, I should probably just build them now. Okay, now I'm stuck. I should probably just build them now. So let's, oh, wait. I don't have anything, do I? Let me just grab all this stuff back because I'm going to need it. I don't know why I'm double clicking it and it's not working. So we're going to end up, we'll probably put our burners here, which means I kind of want to back it up the inputs. So we'll have 2 storage containers way back here. One of them is going to get our wood, and one of them is going to get our leaves. Okay, so now I'm set up for that. So, like I said, between episodes, I'm going to refill the storage containers a bunch of times. I'm going to collect a whole bunch of biomass in both of these 2 things. And then in episode 2, first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay out production here so we can get this all going into solid biofuel. These don't have conveyor inputs, so even though it's enough power, then we're going to build some standalone ones so we can conveyor in. I already have a bunch of fuel ready to go. We'll let the factory keep running, and we'll be ready to get concrete and iron plates, a lot of them, and lay them down and build a proper floor and walls, and we can have an actual factory, and basically we'll tear all this back down and put it in the factory. But that's just kind of what you got to do. So thank you for watching episode 1, and I will see you in episode 2.